Yo, 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 what it do, friends and fam? It is yours truly, Joe Chet, back with another video of socialpreneurship, or podcast, should I say. This is the second episode. We are on Technical Tuesdays, where we are going to be going over financial markets, learning how to become more financially free, and learning a lot about cryptography, blockchain, and a whole bunch of stuff that you may or may not know about, but you're sure as hell going to learn about. So I'm really excited about today's episode because I've actually done a little bit of research into what I'm going to talk about. I kind of have a structure, and I normally don't do that. I normally kind of just free flow and talk from my heart, and because I like to give the raw content, but I like to give the facts as well. So let's get into it. As you guys know, Motivational Monday. I hope you guys checked out Season 1, Episode 1 of the Socialpreneurship podcast, where we went over some pretty cool things on self-empowerment and how to keep yourself in high alignment. But today, we're going into Technical Tuesday. So let's not get carried away and let's jump right into it. Today is going to be kind of my basic overview of what cryptocurrency is, what Bitcoin is, what Ethereum does, and kind of the whole conceptual basis of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. This podcast is going to be a lot of talking, defining, and me kind of just explaining things to you rather than me like talking to you, because like I definitely want to take more of a talking approach, but I definitely want everybody to be on the same educational, like infographic, like plane where we all know the things that I'm talking about. So first off, I'm just going to read the definition of cryptocurrency from Yahoo. A cryptocurrency, or crypto, is a digital asset designed to work as a medium exchange, wherein individual coin ownership records are stored in a ledger existing in a form of computerized databases using strong cryptography to secure transaction records, to control the creation of additional coins, to verify the transaction of the coin ownerships, and that's basically it. Basically, all a cryptocurrency is a digital asset, a space on the internet that has its own address that I can give to you, and it has a value. It has a store of value to it based on the scarcity and demand. So that's where we get into the OG cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most basic dinosaur crypto coin out there. The only use that Bitcoin has, pretty much, is that I can give it to you, and that it is a Bitcoin, and that there's only 21 million of these Bitcoins. That is what creates the value behind Bitcoin. A lot of people don't understand what it is, what it really does, or anything like that, and it's really simple. All it is a peer-to-peer payment coin, and there's only 21 million of them. So there's extreme scarcity and supply and demand issues with the coin, which is why the coin is exponentially increasing in value. So you might have looked at the charts, you might know a little bit, and you might have seen the price variation that comes from this supply and demand issue in Bitcoin. Back in 2017, Bitcoin had a high of over $20,000 and then dropped over to like $3,500 or something like that. It was an 85% decrease in the coin's value. This is literally because of the emotional cycles that are connected to the scarcity and demand. Every 4 years, Bitcoin goes through a halving period. This is what kind of creates that like limited supply of Bitcoin. Every 15 minutes, currently 6.25 Bitcoin are released to the miners of the network. The miners of the network basically help keep the asset like free of fraud and free of scams and stuff like that. These people have nodes. They hold lots of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, whichever coin they're mining. They hold lots of these coins, and they verify transactions on the network, and they get paid to do so. So basically, by holding mass amounts of these cryptocurrencies and having really big computers, Bitcoin miners generate more Bitcoin by helping the Bitcoin network run and stay more secure. It's very simple. There's no owners of the Bitcoin network. There's just moderators and validators and nodes that help run the network. The only thing that sways the power in the Bitcoin network is the people who own the most Bitcoin, the whales. If these people sell lots of Bitcoin, it can create lots of flushes in the market, or if somebody buys up a lot of Bitcoin, it can create huge rises in the market at quick times. So any new digital asset, of course, is going to have a lot of volatility in it. And volatility proves that it is going to be a real asset. It proves that it can grow in value and that it can decrease and that there's emotions attached to it. If you look at the entire chart since Bitcoin has been started, back in 2009, 2008 it was created, it started to gain adoption in 2009. It literally is going through an S curve of adoption through the percentages. If you look at it on a logarithmic scale, which is semi-advanced, but like just look up Bitcoin logarithmic graph and you can definitely see what I'm talking about. The price literally started out at hundreds of cents. It like has gone through these 4-year halving periods where like instead right now, as I was explaining before, there's 6.25 Bitcoin being released every 15 minutes to these miners. Okay, 4 years ago, not even 4 years ago, we're in 2021 right now. In 2020, there was a halving. In 2019, every 15 minutes, 12.5 Bitcoin was released every 15 minutes. In 2024, we will go through another halving where only 3 1/8 Bitcoin are released every 15 minutes. This is the scarcity, this is the supply and demand, this is the squeeze that we're going to see over the next 12 years that is going to throw Bitcoin's value into the millions. I don't take any financial advice from me. I just like looking at the graphs, doing research, and I'm a bull. I'm definitely a bull market kind of guy. I definitely see all of these projects, all of these like technologies going to the moon, and not to the moon on a value scale, but like on a monetarily value scale, but going to the moon because they're going to impact everybody's life. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the definition of what a blockchain is. A blockchain is basically what all of these projects, what Bitcoin, what Ethereum, what all these other projects are run on. So a blockchain is a growing list of records called blocks. These are linked together using cryptography. Each block contains cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp. This timestamp proves that the transaction data actually existed when this block was published, and in order to get this onto the hash. So basically, breaking that down into simpler terms, every single transaction since Bitcoin was created is on the Bitcoin blockchain. Nothing can be changed. We can see the first transaction of Bitcoin all the way to the most recent transaction of Bitcoin. So if you buy a house with Bitcoin, for example, and there is something goes wrong with the deed, something goes wrong with everything else, and you have no paperwork of you owning that house, you can go on the Bitcoin blockchain and prove that this transaction happened. This is literally life-changing for almost half of the world that isn't in a first world country. Basically, somebody who doesn't have access to birth certificates, somebody who doesn't have access to land deeds, somebody who doesn't have access to insurance and creating contracts, legally binding contracts, now will all have access to this due to blockchain technology. So getting into what blockchain can actually do, we need to look at the second biggest coin in the world, which is Ethereum. As I said before, all Bitcoin does is it allows me and you to trade Bitcoin between each other for value. I can give you a Bitcoin for something and you can give me a Bitcoin for something else. That's basically it. But what Ethereum does is Ethereum brings a whole new level to cryptography and blockchain and this entire new technological era. Ethereum is creating an internet for everybody, a decentralized internet for everybody, where anybody in the world can create on a decentralized internet platform. Basically, what that means is me and you could go onto Ethereum, their Ethereum network, anywhere in the world and be able to access this internet and to create our own databases, our own blockchain technology, our own websites, and so much more stuff that I don't even know about yet because I've just started exploring this entire technology. I definitely want to get more in depth about Ethereum itself in another video, give Ethereum its very own podcast. But basically what I want to get to is middlemen and lawyers and stuff like that are going to be pretty much a thing of the past due to smart AI technology. We can use computers to hold the same data and to verify the same agreements that lawyers can do. And we can do it almost more accurately and 1,000 times more efficient. Instead of contracts having to go through mailing periods and waiting periods, waiting for people to put pen to paper, we can just have an AI verify a transaction that it happened and that it happened at this date and this time and at this place. And then that's it. It's a verified transaction, and no government, no people, no parties, no political systems can tell otherwise, because it is on the blockchain and it'll be there forever. So that is also why the verification and the miners of the network need to be rewarded in order to keep the network safe. So these blockchains are secure places that we can store technology. So that is a very simple overview of what cryptocurrencies and blockchain is. I could literally talk for hours, and I definitely will talk for hours on it in the future. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a brief overview of what Bitcoin is, what the blockchain is, what Ethereum is, smart contracts, and why this technology is the technology for the future, why it will put 95% of businesses in businesses now out of business or make them pivot into new businesses, creating new products centered around this internet age. The time is now for this incredible innovation, and I'm really glad that I'm a part of it and that I can talk and educate you guys on this. So let me give you guys a little bit of background. I just gave you so much information on cryptocurrency, why you should believe me. I'm a part of I Am Academy. We are an educational empowerment group pretty much of traders. We help traders that are the most basic level of trader that don't even know what the word Bitcoin is, all the way from professional traders, get more immersed and get better results in the market. Basically, we're a community of empowering marketers where we all just come together and we learn from crypto professionals that work for the academy, and they give us all the information. Basically, I don't want to talk too much about it because I've already gone over the 10-minute period, about 12 minutes now. But if you want to learn more, definitely hit me up in my email, in my DMs. Email is socialpreneurshipmedia@gmail.com. My Instagram, of course, is just socialpreneurship. You can check me out on my personal Instagram as well at joe.cseh. Very simple, Joe Che. And make sure to like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, share this with your family because they need to know about this innovative technology. And I really appreciate all you guys for hopping out. Make sure to check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and peace.